know what? I'm getting real tired of the shenanigans here, Mr. Fry.
Sorry that Mr. Gibbons, I'm sorry that you...
I'm sorry that I'm thrift handicapped. I apologize.
All right, you rolling?
It's not that hard to go to a Goodwill.
But it might not be hard to go to a Goodwill, but at a certain level,
Okay.
when I've never...
We're rolling, be quiet.
No.
Are we rolling?
No, this is good. This
Okay.
All I'm saying is, when you've never done something before, that's like asking me, as a person who's never driven a car before, which I have driven a car before, but for me to get into a vehicle and try and drive, I know what I'm doing. So, and then on top of that, I have a level of quality that I must maintain, especially when I'm cosplaying with, I don't know, fucking gods and goddesses over here. So then, I go to a thrift store, and I'm just like some weirdo just looking around. I'm like, hey, that's kind of cool.
See, that's when you get your friends, and you all look like weirdos
out.
together.
Exactly. You have to make it like a group outing. Y'all get in the car, y'all go to the Goodwill, y'all go to the Salvation Army or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Rule 1, go with friends. Rule 2, bring money.
But not a ton. I mean, it's cheap. It's a thrift shop. But you can...
Because you made yours
Yeah.
through all thrift stores.
Which looks
Yeah,
phenomenal.
and cheap fabric. Oh, thank you. And cheap fabric from Joann's. I mean, like the bargain bins at Joann's and Michael's, they have fabric. Walmart has fabric that you can buy for cheaper at craft stores. You have like remnant bins. You can get all kinds of cool stuff.
I've been, when I go to Walmart and I see these walls of fabric, then we bring in another issue. My gorilla hands can't sew.
It's not that hard to sew. You just get a sewing. Well, you can borrow a sewing machine.
I'm 22 years of age this year, and I've never touched a needle or a sewing machine. There's no way I know what to do. I literally just talked to my costume designer the other day, and I was like, hey, you can teach me how to sew. And she was like, okay. So I'll be taking lessons from her, which something you could do. Ask your friends to learn how to sew.
Or learn how to sew yourself, because it's not that hard.
YouTube tutorials, I guess, could work as well.
Well, I mean, a sewing machine's fairly straightforward. You thread your needle, and you put your fabric down, and you lower the foot, and you just...
Right,
I mean,
right.
It's not...
I mean, I can thread stuff through it. That's easy.
That's literally all there is.
But you gotta figure out, what to follow and where to go and how to attach things and all kinds of craziness. You don't know how to make anything.
Well,
you know nothing
patterns.
whatsoever.
Which is why you want to, I mean, if you want to go, that's what I did with my James Kidd coat. I took my coat and then I just made the back and I sewed that on. Like the only thing I sewed onto the coat was the back panel and the front panel and the collar and the cuffs. And all I did, like literally, I made the cuffs from scratch from fabric at Joann's and the remnant from the bottom of the jacket that I cut off to make it a 3/4 jacket. Made those into the cuffs. Sewed the cuffs on the inside of the sleeves and folded them over and stitched them down. I mean, that was just my hands, needle and thread. And then I took remnant fabric from Joann's that was like black suede, put it onto the back, cut it into the yoke shape, sewed it onto the yoke. I mean, and that was all with a sewing machine. All you do is just fold over the side and hem it, and then you just pop it on the back of the jacket and sew it. And now, for your Norse mythology trivia question of the day, brought to you by Carrie. Did you know in Norse mythology, Thor has red hair and 2 goats that pull a chariot that he rides across the sky? This has been your Norse mythology trivia question of the day. Did you know in Norse mythology, Loki had sex with Sif and then cut all her hair off to tell Thor, fuck you? I mean, what is so funny?
Now, if you were going to walk somebody step by step on things they need to know to build a costume from scratch, especially if they've never done it before, what would you tell people?
Look on eBay and Amazon for parts that you might need that are cheap. Definitely hit up the Goodwill, hit up thrift stores because they have some really cool stuff sometimes. Especially if it's something like a fancy dress or a dress that you can modify a little bit and change it. Learn how to use a sewing machine, definitely. It's very important for modifications and embroidery and things like that. Yeah, learn how to use a sewing machine.
It's kind of the cornerstone.
It really is. It's a staple, really, in any cosplayer's arsenal, of weaponry, along with a heat gun and polymer clay. But I mean, I literally the other day I had to like fix my hair with something, and I didn't have a hairdryer, but I needed a hairdryer, and I didn't have a hairdryer, so I used my heat gun, and I was just like, and I was like, I have achieved cosplay level 9,000. This is like, I can go no further. I'm done.
Okay, so I've got Adéwalé pulled up here in his quartermaster costume, and if I were to put If I were to put this together from thrift store stuff, I mean, you've got the headband, right? We'll just start at the head. You got the headband. You can get a nice, what is that?
It's like yellowish. I think.
Yeah, but it's slightly patterned. Any sort of like intricate pattern would do for the headband. Then you get maybe a white dress shirt. Mm-hmm. Dirty that up. You can soak it in tea, actually.
That's smart.
Which is what I did for my Edward Kenway. Then you could get just a bunch of different belts. Go to the girls section, believe it or not.
That makes a lot of sense.
They've got those wide belts. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Get one of those. Then you would just need like some maroon fabric for the fabric belt thingy.
The sash. It's called a sash.
And then the striped pants and some boots. And I mean, that's the essence. I mean, he's got bracelets and other accessories and a necklace. But I mean, that's the essence of Adéwalé. So now you really have no excuse to let your friends down.
Exactly.
Well, then guess what?
So now you have to come.
We're going to go through it. I'm totally okay with this.
That'd be really cool.
Another thing that
There's
I think...
actually one up the road.
Perfect there.
Yeah.
But something that I think people should know for this especially is just because you saying that is to think outside the box.
Exactly.
Because when it comes down to it, looking at it, you can't just expect to find everything point blank in front of you.
You have to be creative.
You have got to be creative and go outside your normal parameters of thinking, and you will be pleasantly surprised what you end up finding.